beautiful people over on YouTube. Let me make sure that y'all can actually hear me. You cannot. Let's fix that. No, wait. Yes, you can. I lied. It's fine. Guys, when I tell you that OBS keeps crashing and causing problems for me, and then my headphones decided to not pair with my computer, it's that kind of night. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kris, this is Wizard Way, and we're going to be watching episode 3 of The Rings of Power as soon as it drops in another hour. In the meantime, we are going to spend the next hour recapping a little bit about the details that I found in episodes 1 and 2. I am an Elvish enthusiast, and so I have taken it upon myself to basically pull all-nighters whenever a new episode drops of this new show, and I will be analyzing, translating, transliterating anything that needs to be done, any Elvish details or Dwarvish details that I find in the show. So I did this for episodes 1 and 2, and my Twitter thread went a bit viral, which is awesome. Unfortunately, there were errors on that first thread, and I had to go back and fix it. So now there is what I am calling a master thread. There is a master thread now on my Twitter account that is pinned to my profile. So if you go to my Twitter account, same handle on Twitter as it is here on YouTube, here on TikTok, all of the above. I am always Wizardway Kris with a K. So if you head over to my Twitter, I have a pinned thread there, and it is what I'm calling the master thread, the season 1 master thread. And so every detail that I manage to catch, no promises that I'll catch literally all of them, but everyone that I do catch, the updated, corrected details will all be added to the master thread. But I will do separate threads as sort of a speed over accuracy. So later tonight, after I've watched the episode, I will tackle any details that I saw, and those will be up on a separate thread that I will post to Twitter. And at some point, I will make TikTok videos about this. I promise. I promise. It's just this last week, especially with the viral craziness that happened yesterday with all 4 actors from the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Peter Jackson film trilogy, so Elijah Wood, Sean Astin, Dominic Monaghan, and Billy Boyd, all decided to don merch that I did an Elvish translation on. So that was a collaboration between me and Don Marshall72 over on TikTok. Our merch that says "Si de Meidel," which is "You are all welcome here" in Elvish. That merch went viral. And so anybody who has found me because of these things, thank you so much for being here and for supporting me and Dawn. The message of inclusion is paramount, and I ask that you not only follow me, because that's great and all, I am a non-binary trans boy, so you are supporting a minority, a underrepresented community by supporting me, but also please support creators of color. So please support Kiki, who is also, oh gosh, what is her name? Black PNW lady on TikTok? Pacific Northwest is PNW. So Black Pacific Northwest lady on TikTok. Kiki's amazing and just deserves all the love in the world. Ebony Warrior, or Ebony Warrior Studios, depending on the platform, please support him. Annex Wilson, New Betta Do Betta, Callie Cosplay. These are all amazing creators of color, and please support them as well. The whole point of that going viral is to elevate voices other than my own. So please do that, and I appreciate that. So welcome, guys. Let's chat a bit before we hit episode 3. All right, hello chat. This is totally a safe space. Thank you, Zoe, for being my mod extraordinaire. Oh my goodness. Okay. What are we looking at? Lord Bunnybone, I did see your comment about Halbrand's necklace. You say that it's a bird with big wings on it. How slim are the chances that Halbrand is of the House of the Wing from Gondolin? Slim to none. I would say slim to none. Slim to none chance. The reason being, there were not many mortal men at all that ever even laid eyes on Gondolin. Hi, Alana. Kitten moment. Everyone say hello to my kitten. This is Alana. I know! Well, you came over here, so there's no consent for cats. And you want to be hugged, so I guess this is the state of things for now. But there were only, to my knowledge, 2 mortal men that even saw Gondolin, and that is Huor and Hurin. Huor and Hurin, and then Tuor? So 3. 3 mortal men that ever saw Gondolin, and no others. No others that are ever named. So, due to that, I would say Halbrand is definitely not a person who saw Gondolin. Also, with this being in the Second Age, Gondolin has long since been destroyed, and even with the compression that we're talking about, with all of the Second Age happening in the same TV show, he would not have been born early enough to have been in Gondolin at all. So, unfortunately, no. But that's a fun thought. I do love me some Gondolin action. There's no consent for cats. It sounds bad out of context. You're not wrong. It's just something my sister always says. Oh, excuse you, kitten. Come on. Move. Keep going. There we go. Okay. Stranger keeps giving you Mithrandir vibes. I'm sure that's intentional. So, do we know anything about Meteor Man or the Stranger, as he is called in the show? Unfortunately, not really. There are a lot of different hints that are being dropped in the show, and most of them point to Gandalf or Mithrandir. That is accurate. But do we know for sure if it is that character? Absolutely not. And I keep hoping, like, personal opinion, I keep hoping it's not that straightforward. I feel like it's almost lazy writing to put all of those hints in and have there be no guessing work. They've kept this character secret for so long, I don't think it's going to be such an easy reveal. I don't think we're going to know in the first couple episodes who this character is. So, like, I hope it's not that simple. I hope there's a twist or turn or two there, and that all these little hints that have been dropped that point toward the Maiar, or at least, Mithrandir or Gandalf specifically, are red herrings. I hope that this is one of the Blue Wizards. If it is Sauron, that would be interesting, and there would be different ways that you could play with that throughout the storyline before actually revealing who this character is. I think he's going to be given a name that is not one we will recognize. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with this character staying a mystery for the entirety of the first season. I think it being a reveal at the end of the first season would be good. Personal opinion. What's with the dark magic that was used on the goblin in the wall? In the Forodwaith. In the Forodwaith, there are these orcs that are, sort of, they look like they were blasted away and melded into the walls. And since the walls look like they were carved of obsidian, that's obviously some sort of magic at work, and we just don't know exactly what it was. I don't really have any clues with that, as far as the nature of the magic. But one thing, a hint that was dropped for Meteor Man / the Stranger was that the torches that the elves were carrying in the Forodwaith, they didn't give off any heat. So fire didn't have any heat. The only thing that was giving off any heat at all was the mark of Sauron in the stone, which I think is a really cool detail. Because it means that all heat was drawn into that mark. It's like it sapped the entire area of warmth. And I thought that was kind of cool. And then we saw it sort of echoed again with the Stranger. The Stranger you know, whispering to the fireflies, and then the fireflies, once that magic expired, their lights went out and they died. And poor Poppy, the Harfoots have my whole heart, and I'm copying what what Tori Fox said, but the Harfoots do have my whole heart, and Poppy crying at the death of a firefly was just the sweetest freaking thing ever. Do I think that the fortress for the Forodwaith was a nod to Autumno? It's sort of a nod to Autumno / Angband, but it did have its own name. I forget what it was. It was like Durnost, I believe it was, which is an original location that they put into the series. So it's not supposed to be a canonical location, it's just something they made up, but it is sort of a nod to the fortresses that we are familiar with. Yeah, they didn't have rights to the name, exactly. But it probably was a nod to Angband. It's been a while. Hey, Eli! It has been a while. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Let me see if I missed any major questions here. Is the episode out already? No, it is not. It will be out in another 45 minutes or so. And I see my group chat going off on my phone. Thank you, guys. Alright, so before we get started with the show itself, we've got 45 minutes to chat about things. I'm going to switch over my scene, and we are going to take a quick look at my Twitter thread, and I will show you guys all of the details that you may have missed in the first 2 episodes when it comes to Elvish stuff. So if you are over on TikTok, please jump on over to my YouTube channel. The first link in my link tree in my bio will take you directly to the live stream that I'm live on right now. So please do that. That way you'll be able to see what's on my screen and we can chat about it. So I'm gonna switch my scene here and let's get started. Oh, of course it's not showing. Womp womp. Oh man. I can fix it. I can fix it. I'll have to switch my scene for a moment here. But I'll fix it. Things always go wrong. Who am I kidding? All right. There it goes. Okay. And my mic is still on. We're good, right? Okay. I think everything's all right. So, this is my Twitter thread. So if you are over on the YouTube channel, this is my thread on Twitter. This is the master thread. I would like to highlight that. So I have a master thread that is pinned on my profile on Twitter. This is where I'm going to update things a couple days after each episode. I will be adding to this thread so that everyone knows the most correct information that I can get for any Elvish details that you find in the series. So hopefully I get all of them in there and I don't miss anything. If I do, I apologize in advance, but I do my best. I do have a Patreon, yes. So patreon.com/WizardWayChris. Everything is WizardWayChris. I'm so easy to find everywhere because it's universal across all platforms. But yes, so let's go through the Twitter thread a little bit. This is my, what does it say though? Twitter thread. And I really truly love this, this gif of actor Charles Edwards, who plays Celebrimbor. I saw it and I couldn't not use it. Okay, so how this thread works. I pull an all-nighter after every episode when it drops, so we will be doing the watch party, and then immediately after that, I will stay up all night to decode any Elvish details that I see in the series. So I stay up so you don't have to. There will be a thread that I post as soon as I'm able to on Twitter. It'll be a separate thread, but that'll be my initial what I think it might mean. And I do my best to be accurate, but I'm positive I will get corrected by people who are smarter than me, and that's a good thing. But that's why the master thread is a thing as well. So after a few days, after I've been corrected by people who are smarter than me, I will update all the information, and it will be on the master thread. So that's how things work. So first things first, we have characters that are non-canonical, and most characters in Tolkien's world have names that are in Elvish. This is completely normal. So, oh, you're here for Lenny Henry's character? Absolutely. I can't wait to see more of him. He's such a good actor. Same with Charles Edwards, fantastic actor. He's not what people thought in their heads for Celebrimbor, and that's okay. But so far he's done a wonderful job conveying the character in very few lines. It takes a very skilled actor and a good writing team to manage that, so tip of the hat. So we have several non-canonical characters that I think are fun to touch on. So the first and most obvious being Arondir. Arondir's name, there are a couple different translations to it. It can just mean literally nobleman. Just like Arwen is noble lady. Arondir is like a masculine version of Arwen. So if we wanted to be really simplistic, you could just say that Arondir means nobleman. But a different translation of his name could be secret or lofty steeple, like a pointed roof. And I think that's pretty fun. That's a much more interesting translation for a name, and so I put that up there instead of just nobleman, which I feel is a little bit more boring. But, I mean, Tolkien uses boring but accurate names all over the place in his Legendarium, so if it does end up being that he was meant to be called Nobleman, then I'm fine with that. I'm always content to be overruled on this, or content to be corrected. Tir Harad. Tir Harad means Southwatch. It is the city that Arondir and his fellow elves are keeping watch over. So it's full of Southlanders, mortal men and women and children. But the elves have been watching over it for a few hundred years at this point. Basically just trying to make sure that the mortals don't side with Morgoth ever again. But unfortunately, the elves are interfering in a way that doesn't ingratiate themselves to the mortals in this village. And because of that, they're in a way making it more likely, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, they're making it more likely that that they will reject the elves and side with the baddies again. So, one of those cases where the elves think that they're helping, but they're kinda not helping. So next is Thondir. Thondir was another one of the elves. Rian, same thing, another one of the elves. Thondir, it's either from thon, which is pine, or thond, which is root. And then dir is just a masculine male ending for a name. So pine or root man. These sound so silly when you put them in English, but everything sounds better in Elvish. Rian, which is a name that is canonical. Believe it's... is it Tuor's? Tuor's wife is named Rian? No, Tuor ends up with Idril, my bad. Huor's wife is Rian. Pretty sure. I'll say, if my Elvish lore is correct there, it is Huor's wife, named Rian. And it just means, crowned gift. Medor. Medor was the elf that was accompanying Arondir in Tir Harad. And we don't have a direct translation for this particular name, but it does contain med, which means wet. And that's in a Doriathrin or Ilkurin dialect of Elvish. So it's not Sindarin based, which is kind of fun. I like that they're mixing things up a little bit. Revion, I believe this was the Watchwarden's name, if I remember correctly. The Watchwarden's name was Revion. which has the verb revia, which is to fly or sail. And then Ostirith is City of Watch. Ostirith is the Elvish city where all of the watching elves are, I believe. It's their hub, their hub from which they then are monitoring the Southlanders. Any questions so far? Are we good? Rondir does look like he has a few secrets, and I think we're going to learn a bit more about him as the series goes on, for sure. I'm curious to see what his background is. Alright, next tweet. So in the prologue in episode 1, we did see Finrod Felagund in battle. It was sort of a couple different battles, but they showed eagles and fell beasts and dragons, and those didn't come together until the War of Wrath. Not all at once. So, in this War of Wrath battle scene, we have Finrod's character yell, Vararon Kalinen Firuvante, and it's all slow motion. But it just means, by the light of the Valar, they will die. So it's basically a battle cry. I had mistranslated that at the beginning, so corrected by Gilruin over at Parf Ethelen, which is a fantastic Elvish dictionary if you know how to use it. Gilruin has popped in my chat more than once over the last couple years, and they know Elvish way better than I do. So thank you. Thank you to them for the corrections. The snow troll, someone screaming out a warning in the Forodwaith. It was Ristorko, which means ice troll. Very, very simple there. Some things are super simplistic. Next we had Elrond, my lovely, lovely Rob Aramayo. He was sitting in a tree writing Gil-galad's speech in the first episode. He starts with a Quenya quote, which is I palanumen, I alfirmin nori, la metavante. Hi again, kitten. This means the far west, the undying lands, at last they go. Yeah, get the cuddles in now, kitten, because I'm gonna want to have my undivided attention on the episode soon, kitten bit. After that, we did have all of the written notes that Elrond was writing for the speech, and I did my best to compile these and translate them. There were a couple characters that I got wrong, which meant that my translation was off a tad. I thought it was Thestiel, it was Festiel. More awake than you? Oh my gosh. I had to take a muscle relaxer because I got slammed with pain like half an hour before going live. So, we're okay, but I had to take something to help. When does the show begin? It begins in another 35 minutes. 35 minutes. So we're just going over some of the details. You can see them on the screen with me if you are over on my YouTube channel. So jump on over to my YouTube channel. First link in my link tree in my bio, if you're on TikTok. So we get bits and pieces, but the translation of them is basically exactly what Gil-galad ends up saying in his speech, apart from the final line where it reads, bones of an animal, and bones of a dying animal is what Elrond was writing. And then he crosses out the word animal, which is lavan, and he replaces it. And then during Gil-galad's speech, he replaces it with spoilt carcass, like spring rain on a spoilt carcass, instead of the bones of an animal. So, Elrond's speech writing makes me happy. It's such an... I feel like it's such an accurate detail to give Elrond, that he's writing Gil-galad's speeches for him, because he is his herald, so this would definitely be one of his jobs. Making Gil-galad look good. Won't be able to stay during the actual episode. No problem. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, learn some of the details if you haven't seen my Twitter thread already. We then have Elrond and Galadriel greeting each other in Quenya, in Lindon. Elrond greets her saying, Lindon elje kava lisanen. To which she replies, Lisaneni kavina. This is, Lindon receives you with grace, and she responds, with grace I am received. Very formal. But Quenya has more of that formal sound and delivery to it. Quenya is a bit softer, I feel. It's a bit softer in sound than Sindarin. Move it, kitten. I love you, but move. So, moving right along. Arondir, this is one that I caught, but forgot to include in my original thread. When Arondir is in the village and he passes by people playing a board game, he says, Karayas in 3 moves. Basically, like, he understands the game and he's like, you're gonna lose soon. Karayas, it's meant to be the equivalent of checkmate for whatever this game is. But Karayas, and I misspelled it there in the thread, whoopsie. I hate that Twitter doesn't allow me to edit things. I get it, but at the same time, it's super annoying. So, simple mistake there for me, but it is Karayas with an R. But the word is Noldorin, and it means a jagged hedge of spikes, which is kind of weird in this context, but sure, you're gonna lose. Checkmate. Karayas in 3 moves. Next one was, we jumped back to Elrond with Galadriel, and she showed him basically a note that she had jotted down at some point in her travels to keep a record of what she saw up in the Forodwaith. And here, it's Duranost. Duranost halls and chambers wherein the smell of doom hung heavy. And then in the lower right it says, an emblem appeared, and it has the picture of the mark that she saw. This is English. It's just written in Tengwar, Tengwar being the Elvish alphabet. The Elvish alphabet is adaptable to any language, truly. So in this case, they used a phonemic mode, which is phonetic. It spells out the sounds rather than the letters themselves in English. But most of it, and this is true across all of the English written in Tengwar for the show, it's written with a bit of a dialect in mind, and it's sort of, I don't know, like, the nitty-gritty phonetic details distinguishing a British accent from a Welsh accent, but it feels like it's a combination somewhere in that realm, because the vowels are different. The vowels are depicted differently in this mode of the Tengwar. Yeah, it's super cool that they can really, like, get specific with dialect when you're using a phonemic mode. I love that detail. But it means that for me, my American English-speaking brain has such a difficult time decoding the English that they're using in these notes, because the vowels are all weird to me. Because it's not Duranost halls and chambers, it's Duranost halls and chambers. You know, like it's or chambas. Wherein the smell of doom hung heavy. So it's they pronounce it differently, and that different pronunciation is actually displayed in the way that they spell it in Tengwar. Hello, Khalil, welcome. And I'm sorry, I did see Aaron asked a question there. What's the main difference between Sindarin, Quenya, and Tengwar? Tengwar is the written language. It is an alphabet, much like the Latin alphabet is used for multiple languages. We use it for English, we use it for Spanish, mostly for German, French, Italian. All of these use the Latin alphabet. Just like Russian, Ukrainian, and Bulgarian and things like that use the Cyrillic alphabet. So Tengwar is just the alphabet. The languages are Quenya and Sindarin. Quenya is used by the High Elves, or elves that are over a certain age, and originally came from Valinor. The Quenya language, basically, Quenya and Sindarin are both offshoots of a common Elvish, like an ancient Elvish language. And when the populations of the elves split, when some elves went over to Valinor and others stayed in Middle-earth, the languages diverged and developed separately for a period of time. So when those elves from Valinor, Galadriel included, came back into Middle-earth, as we saw in the prologue for the show in episode 1, they brought with them the language of Quenya. But at that point, they had been separated from these other elves for so long that the other elves spoke a different language, and they called it Sindarin. This was spoken by the Sindar, or Grey Elves. So that is the difference between the two languages, as they developed differently. Sindarin developed in Middle-earth, Quenya developed in Valinor, and was brought back. It's a long story, so I'll make it super short. When those exiles came back into Middle-earth, they came back under not the best circumstances, and there were kinslayings that happened. When that was brought to the attention of the king of the Sindar elves, Thingol, or Elu Thingol, in Doriath, he outlawed the use of Quenya. So Quenya was an outlawed language, and because of that, it sort of moved into a more lore only. It's like a historic language rather than one that's spoken every day. So in formal situations, like at the beginning of a speech for Gil-galad, or a greeting between two elves that would know Quenya, like Elrond and Galadriel, it makes sense in those situations, but generally speaking, Sindarin is going to be the tongue that the elves speak, just in general. So I hope that answers the question. Meteor Man, he gives off Gandalf vibes. Could it be a young Gandalf? It could be. I'm hoping that the signs that we saw that are pointing to it being Gandalf are not all that we see. Okay, so this is a detail that I picked out mostly through the promo materials, but we do get a little hint of it here and there in the first episode, and that is Elrond is wearing a cloak that has runes on it. Now, it looks like just a flowy design, but those are just artistically altered runes, and the only ones that we can actually read for sure spell Endil. Based on their placement and the character width and stuff like that, my guess is that his cloak says Earendilion, which is son of Earendil, and that would be accurate for Elrond because he is the son of Earendil. You're welcome, Aaron. Happy to help. So basically, think of it as a sports jersey, but Elvish. I don't think we'll see... Well, I mean, hey, you know... Unfortunately, he wasn't wearing this particular cloak when he went to Khazad-dûm and had the stone-breaking contest with Durin. That would have been funny, because then it really would have been like a sports jersey, him having his name on it. And especially because the dwarves would have been able to read it, because it uses the same alphabet. Different language, same alphabet, as the dwarves. Family reunion shirt. Accurate, though. Yeah, unfortunately, his family is not there. Alright, moving on. Gil-galad's costume. This is another one that I picked out of the promo images, starting with the promo posters back in February. His outfit, there are runes on the sleeves, and there are runes on his chest piece. So the sleeves say Elbreth, and the chest piece says Aran Aenior. These are the Sindarin names for Varda and Manwë. These are the gods for the stars and the sky, respectively. So he's basically emblazoned the name of the gods on his sort of official outfit that he's wearing here as he gives this speech. Which makes perfect sense to me. New merch? No, I'm not going to be making Elrond family reunion merch. That would be funny, but no, I'm not going to do that. I do have new merch coming. It will be the Eye of Sauron. My version of the Eye of Sauron, which is this. You guys can see it. That's going to be the tattoo that I get, because you guys helped me pass 50,000 followers over on TikTok, which means I'm getting my first tattoo, and this is the design I will be getting. It's flipped here on TikTok, though, unfortunately. So, imagine that, but flipped. This is what it looks like in Tengwar when you spell out Sauron's name, using Tengwar. Again, that is the alphabet being used. So Sauron, the name is Quenya. But I thought it was hilarious that I could make what looked like an I out of the actual spelling of the name Sauron. So that's what I did. That's going to be my tattoo, and I do have merch that will go along with it. So I'll be probably releasing that in the next week or so, just for fun. I don't know if I have to wait on my tattoo for a bit, though. It might have to wait until after my top surgery. After I've recovered from top surgery. My date for my top surgery, which you all helped me pay for, thank you, is going to be November 7th. So, I scheduled it for after the season finale of The Rings of Power. I was not going to try and recover from surgery at the same time as covering the show. No, sir. Could not handle the stress of that. Not you stalking my account waiting for reactions. Another 20 minutes or so. We'll get started soon. If you're gonna watch my reaction, though, I will be shutting down my TikTok for that, so please head to the link in my bio over to my YouTube channel. The first link in my link tree takes you directly to the live stream that I'm on literally right now. So, better viewing experience over there, and I appreciate you if you jump over there. Thank you so much! I'm glad you like the content. Yeah, the double meaning of the tattoo. I mean, and I have what's called dyshydrotic eczema. It's an autoimmune kind of eczema that causes these pinprick blisters to form on my skin, mostly hands and feet. And they itch like crazy, and there's nothing I can do about it. So it stinks, but this is my test tattoo. I've never had a tattoo before, but I have a skin condition that might make it difficult, so I'm getting a small tattoo, and it may be my only tattoo based on how my skin reacts. If it turns out that I can't get any other tattoos, this will be the only one, and I'll just be branded with the mark of Sauron. I'm cool with it. Hashtag simping for Sauron. I mean, that's on brand for me, if you know me at all. Kitty alert. I know, my kitties are so sweet. I guess you cannot quite see them. They're both right there. They're grooming each other. It's super cute. I love my cats so much. Alright, moving on. So, there is an Elvish grove. I'm calling it the Grove of Remembrance, because their bodies obviously aren't there, but I think for every fallen warrior that they've had that they are commemorating from the War of Wrath and, I guess, important figures from the First Age, as well as the people who have died in the Second Age, there is this gigantic grove of trees, very orderly grove of trees, in Lindon, where they have carved these reliefs of various elves into the tree trunks. And the detail that I pointed out here was that one of them has a dog carved in it. And this could either be Celegorm, one of the sons of Feanor, who was the original owner of Huan, or it could be Luthien Tenuviel. People were like trying to correct me, being like, it couldn't possibly be Celegorm, it's gotta be Luthien. And I'm like, it's a possibility. I don't know for sure. But seeing as we were in the part of the grove that's Galadriel's kin, I thought it was more likely that it would be Celegorm, despite the fact that, like, he was not a well-liked elf at all. He was a jerk. He was one of the biggest a-holes, canonically, when it comes to the elves. Like him and Feanor are really high up there. They're just jerks. So, could it be Luthien? Absolutely. We don't know for sure. We do not know for sure. Alright. Next detail. Okay, so here we get to the schematics in episode 2. Episode 2 had, like, just a couple seconds of nothing but these beautiful schematics of Celebrimbor, which he shows to Elrond, and basically tells Elrond, you're here to help me figure out not the what I want to create, but the how I'm going to create it. He's like, you're not here to help me with the what, you're here to help me with the how. He's like, and I have these plans for this forge that I want to create, and this is basically his schematics for Ostin Edil, which is the city of the elves. That's what it means. The city of the elves in Eregion. And this is where the Gwaith Myrdain, or the jewelsmiths of the elves, end up making their great works of art, and where Celebrimbor, with Anatar's help, creates all of the rings of power. And then Anatar leaves and he creates the 3 elven rings on his own later on. But these are the schematics for the forge that he wants to build. And so there are a ton of elvish details. Like, it gets a little crazy, okay? But I did my best to zoom in on these areas, and it's all, again, English written in Tengwar. So this is English, it's just written in a different alphabet. And again, they use a dialect that makes it really hard to translate, or transliterate. But I did my best. So we have something about the netted entrance. This seems appropriate. There's probably a word missing, given the prevalence of something in Eregion, though the bower arrangement could be considered. And then the middle portion there says upper garden wall. I originally thought that it said appear golden wall, but when you say it with an accent, appear golden wall is very close to upper garden wall. So you can see how golden wall and garden wall sound the same if you have that accent. Golden wall. It's so frustrating. But this is why I had difficulty and why I am open to being corrected. But there was a wonderful, in the Tengwar subreddit, there was a wonderful person who actually took the time to decode the differences with the dialect. And so that will make things a little bit easier if there are more of these details in future episodes. So, thank you. Thank you to Nacho Falcone, I think it was, Nacho Falcone over on the Tengwar subreddit. Thank you for your help. I did give credit. So another bit of detail, it says small satellite towers can link to the main tower on the north or west sides, or both, connecting at the lower balustrade. So these are just notes on the schematics, and there are a lot of them. The sea, we can guide its course as long as we provide a downhill channel to contain its flow. On the side, sideways going up and down, it says on mid-level arches, and then there's, again, the bower arrangement all the way through upper garden wall. The main text of the main page of the schematic says, by capturing water in its journey from the mountains, the hills, and the rooftops, and guiding it in channels, we can deliver it to where it will be necessary, useful, or simply beautiful, a gladness to the eyes and heart. We almost get a little feel for Celebrimbor as a character, just seeing what he writes on these schematics. Like, bravo. And shout out to Carl Hostetter, who is the Elvish expert that they tapped for this. One of the original Elfconners, freaking legend in the Tolkien language community. So, that's what all these little Tengwar characters mean. It's complicated. There's a lot there, you guys. This took me hours. Hours. It took me, I think, 8 or 9 hours after the episode aired last week to get all these details transliterated and stuff. So when I say it was an all-night job, I mean it was an all-night job. The dwarves saying Kaza Doom was the best thing ever. Yeah, Kaza! And then everyone goes, Doom! I actually said it with them during my watch through. It was so much fun. Because we had seen that bit. So again, more details from the schematics. The design for the top leaves of the tower is a new device, emblem of our people in Eregion, and call to mind the trees of Valinor. So we can expect some more trees of Valinor details, which is so much fun. Again, more schematic stuff. Region motifs still under development. Pennants for the season are changed for each festival. And that's just what it says in this area of the Tengwar here. And he being Celebrimbor, he overlays a final page on top of the others, and this contains a schematic for the forge itself. And here there are numbers as well as words. This page, though, instead of being English, it seems to be Quenya, written in that same phonemic mode. It was hard to read, and because Quenya is not my specialty, I did not know how to translate it properly. So this is just a guesstimation on my part, but it looked like it said, Le Lacoinian Mithquesir Tanka, the numbers 042, and then Harwa Tenna Teloan San. And then you get bits of that repeating lower, along with more numbers that say 0021. And then at the very bottom of this page, you can kind of see this area here. It's only there for a split second, but unfortunately, it reads the same as the top portion of the same page. So, sad trombone. Wop, 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 wop. And then I did give schematics credit, so thank you again to Nacho Filaconi over on the Tengwar subreddit for all of the details of how he distinguished one Tengwa character from another. That will make anyone who tries to decode other bits, it'll make it much, much easier for us. We did have the doors of Durin. There's not too much for me to really go in detail here. It took me several tweets to write down what everything transliterates to, meaning just writing down what it says in the Latin alphabet. But I do not speak Neo-Kluzdul. I do not speak Dwarvish. I don't know it. So the best I can do is point out words that are familiar. In this case, the words that pop up are Khazad-dûm, which we know is this particular dwelling of the dwarves. Durin, who is the king of the dwarves here. Also a historical figure. There's Durin the First, all the way down to the Durin that we are seeing in these episodes. The older king is Durin the Third, and the one who's interacting with Elrond a lot, who is married to Disa, is Durin the Fourth. Mahal is mentioned. Mahal is the god of the dwarves. He is Aule. Aule is one of the Valar. He is the smith. If you want to think of him as being kind of like Hephaestion, not Hephaestion, yes, Hephaestion / Vulcan. Yeah, like Greek mythology. Ugh. If you want to think of him like that, he is the god of the forge, the god of craft. Khaled Zaram is the dwarvish name for the Mirrormare, or the Mirrormare, which is the opposite entrance into Khazad-dûm. It's the entrance that we see the Fellowship leave after Gandalf falls in Fellowship of the Ring, when they leave on the opposite side of the mountain, and they then make their way into Lothlorien. There is a large lake at that entrance, and it is called the Mirrormare. T-minus 10 minutes! I know, we're so close! And I'm getting close to the end of the thread, so perfect timing. There are a bunch of other details and stuff, but yeah. Other than those terms, and then Sigyn or Sigyn from Sigyn Tarag. By the way, when Elrond sort of leans into the door and he says, "I invoke the right of Sigyn Tarag," what he's saying is, "I invoke the right of the Longbeards." The Sigyn Tarag is the dwarvish name for the Longbeards, which is a clan of the dwarves that include Durin. So we do have these other pictures. We got a very good look, like a straight-on look at the doors. So I did get to at least write down what the doors say, but there's not too much that we can go into. as far as the translation of them, because Neo-Khuzdul is its own beast, and that is not my specialty. When Elrond is in Khazad-dûm, he's looking around in wonder and he says, Elmendea. Elmendea means like, oh, wondrous, wondrous, marvelous. So he's impressed. It's just an exclamation. It's derived from an early Elvish word. Finally, we do have the stranger's words as he's talking to Nori. He repeats mana ure. And there are a few different ways this can be translated, depending on if the first A in mana has an accent over it or not, or if it is supposed to have a double N or not. In the subtitles, it is the first option there, with no accent over the A's and just normal ure. So that would mean, what heat? So he could be asking, like, what heat is? Or where the heat is? Like, it's unclear. It's who or what is what mana means. And ure is heat or fire. What fire, what heat. But other translations could be blessing heat, or blessed heat, blessed fire, or whither or where to heat or fire. So there are options here. It gets a little confusing. We don't know exactly what he's saying, and because of that, we can't really know what the theory points to. My initial thought was that it would mean blessed heat or blessed fire, and I was like, oh, blessed fire like secret fire? Wielder of the flame of Arnor? Of Anor? So I don't know if that's pointing toward Gandalf or not. We shall see. Durin's costume collar says Durin Deathless in Angerfas Region, which is just one of the Kirth alphabets. And that's basically it. That's it. So I'm sure there will be other details, but we will have fun with those when the episode drops, which will be just another 5 or 6 minutes now. So let's switch the scene back over to just the watch party scene, and I'll queue up the page, and we'll wait for that episode to drop. I'm so excited. This is gonna be so much fun. Like, sincerely, I can't wait. I'm ready, guys. So, any questions? I'm looking at it. I'm like, I've got 2 chats. I will be shutting down the TikTok chat pretty soon. So if you'd like to watch with me, please jump on over to my YouTube channel. The link for that is the first link in my link tree in my bio. Numenor! I know, we're gonna get our first look at Numenor today. I'm excited about that. There is a Numenorian writing system that is completely original for this show. It was probably put together by Karl Hofstadter, and I have no idea how to read it. Not a clue, because it's not in any other texts from Tolkien's Legendarium, so I have no idea what it says. But apparently it was something that could be taught, because in interviews, Emma Horvath, the woman who plays Eärien, which is Isildur's sister, non-canonical character, but she apparently learned the alphabet so well that she could write everybody's names in Numenorian, which is cool. Which dialect of Elvish is easier to learn? Common question I get. Quenya has a better vocabulary, but it is what's called agglutinative, which means that a lot of what happens in the language is suffixes added onto things. Suffixes can be added onto nouns, verbs, everything. And to me, that makes things really complicated, but the complex part of Sindarin is that everything mutates. There are so many mutations, and that's something that it picked up from Welsh, because it was very much inspired by Welsh. Whereas Quenya was inspired by Finnish, and Finnish is also an agglutinative language. So they're both difficult. If you want to learn Neo-Sindarin, the best resource to do so would be Fiona Jalling's book. It was published in 2017. It's called A Fan's Guide to Neo-Sindarin. I know Fiona myself, and she is working on a second edition that is going to be just a complete overhaul of the book. I have access to her draft for the second edition, and that is what my Elvish lessons are going to be based on when I post them, which is basically just a video, an AV version, audiovisual version of her second edition of the book. So I'm working on that with her permission. So there will be video lessons. If you want to be notified when any of those go live, please join my mailing list on my website, which is elfboy.com. Over here on the YouTube stream. I'm gonna shut you guys down. We got 3 more minutes. Well, make that 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes before we go to watch episode 3. So join me over on YouTube. Thank you guys for being here over on TikTok. Jump on over to YouTube. Love you guys. Bye. Can't wait. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay. Done with that. All right. Cool. That is set. And waiting now for the episode to drop. So exciting. Oh, okay. It's there, but there's not a play button yet. So in the next couple minutes, it should get the play button. Come on, do the thing. I bet if I went into episode 2, it would automatically start episode 3. It would probably just jump me right into episode 3. But we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We can wait. We can wait until there's a play button. This is fine. I'll just keep refreshing. I'm so excited. Yeah, Numenorian is going to be interesting. I don't know if they have a spoken language in addition to the written language, but either way. Yeah, water, snack, bladder empty. Let's go. Yeah, if you're going to do that now. Do that now. Before we get started. I will wait a couple minutes because I want to make sure everyone has access to the episode before I start. Oh. Okay, it has updated. There is now a play button. There is now officially a play button. I'm going to turn off the music here on the stream. Okay. That should have muted the music for you guys. I'm going to queue up the episode. Okay. All right, it is queued up and ready to go. Everyone got a play button? Everyone ready? All right, let's bring up my my stopwatch here. So I do have a timer here on the screen. This is going to be my approximate play time. Now, depending on how many people are watching, which could be a lot or could be not too many, depending. It probably won't be as bad as last time, but the last stream I was a few seconds off because my video kept buffering for like split seconds every 15 seconds or so. Which meant I ended up being off on my timer by like 10 seconds. But success. Okay, so let's get it ready. All right. So let's do a countdown. Everyone cue it up on your screens, get ready to go. And I'm going to do a quick countdown and we'll start it at the same time. So, everyone ready? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something in chat. Ready! Ride now! Ride to ruin! Everyone good to go? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm waiting on you, chat. I want to make sure everyone's okay. Good to go? Okay, Flutter's ready to go. I already skipped the ad. So I'm at the very beginning of the episode. The commercials are different. It all depends on what you're watching. So I skipped it, but I'm queued right at the beginning of the episode. Good to go? Okay, let's do a countdown. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, here we go. Prime Video. Previously. Poor Nori. Oh, yeah, and her father, like, really hurt his foot badly. Oh god, they had to put that crunch sound in again. Poor Poppy. It was the most touching thing that Poppy cried. Bum, it was orcs. My people need no king. Sorry, just kidding. I'm really liking Bronwyn's character, actually. I want to learn more about Arondir. That jump scare was fantastic. All right. So this time I'll actually get to enjoy the opening sequence here, because I was having issues with my countdown timer before. The music for this series is just fantastic. So shout out to Howard Shore as well as Bear McCreary. Love seeing the two trees. I do feel that this opening sequence is a little bit underwhelming. I feel like they could do a lot with it, but they didn't do a lot with it. It is cool seeing the vibration be the thing that changes things, because of the emphasis that Tolkien puts on music in his world. The whole world was created through music. And I like that they sort of bring in these dark colors into the mix. I feel like you could do a lot with, like, the different colors and stuff. So we'll see if this actually ends up changing over time. It may. It may not. We'll see. I hope that the opening changes a little, like, and of course I'm thinking of Game of Thrones, how it adapts to each season based on what's going on in the different realms. So maybe the symbols for Numenor will go dark or disappear when Numenor falls. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. Arondir first. Not looking too hot. Here we go with all the orcs, though. Orcs are scary in this. Oh man, I love the brass that they use. The way the orc sounds move around in the mix. If you're wearing headphones, this is great. Shout out sound editors. Vrath and Lorca, apparently, are these characters. Oh, for Adar, then. Okay. Oh my gosh, they're so creepy. For Adar And Adar is the Elvish word for father. Alright. Oh, that's Medor. Or was it Thomdir? I forget. It'll say in the subtitles. Alright. So, all the usual suspects are here. We got several elves for sure. Looks like several men as well. Notice all of the orcs are in covered areas. It's because orcs are very sensitive to sunlight. When we last saw Galadriel, she was passing out on the raft. It's harder to kill an elf than you would think, so yes, of course she lives. As if that would frighten her. There are no known, elf-exclusive poisons. And can one poison an elf to death? I don't know. Not easily. Oh no, you're watching episode 2. Jump ahead! Again, this is episode 3. Episode 3 we're on. Number 3, my lord, number 3. And there we have Elendil. And we have Asians! Hell yes! Seeing more diversity gives me such pleasure. I love it. He calls her one of the Eldar. So this is Elendil. Not currently a king, but he ends up being the first king of Gondor and Arnor. But we're a ways off before that happens. Hi, kitten. I love the design of the sails for these ships. And apparently they are functional. Probably very finicky, but functional. You'll see the sun being used as symbolism here for mortal men. That is because lore says that they awoke as soon as the sun rose in Middle-earth. So there's a reason behind all the sun symbolism. And these big statue heads. Oh yeah, the dagger. The dagger with the 2 trees is like, I really want a replica of that dagger so bad. I will pay good money for that. That would be Ulmo. Ulmo or perhaps Osse. Oh, the way she trills her R's. It's so good. Numenor. I struggle with the trilled R's, but Morvith Clark does such a good job with her R's. You can see the big mountain in the background there. Yes, she does have her brother's dagger. Wow, what a vast port that is. I love that everything is like gold and blue in this realm. Very much a seafaring people, since the entire realm is one big island. Is that an elf? Ooh, burn. And she would be sorrowful. Okay, so they really have condensed the timeline here. Because this dislike for the elves was very slow to develop, seeing as the Númenóreans descended from the elves, from Elrond's twin brother Elros, actually. He was the first king of Númenor. So they've really condensed this. Because there were some 20 plus kings of Númenor before we got to Miriel and later on, spoiler alert, Pharazôn. Oh gosh, the silver tree. That silver tree is descended from the silver tree in Valinor. Show some restraint, he says. Chancellor Pharazôn. Look at the panic. The panic on his face. He's like, oh god, it's an elf. Like, we don't know how to act with, elves about. You do see some of that written Númenórean language on the sashes of the ladies at court. Just to point that out. And a hush falls. Okay. No kneeling. Sorry. Here we go. Accurate. It's not truly that long-winded. Interesting that she calls it Middle Earth instead of Enor. Ooh! Bold words. Actually, they kind of were, but... Oh, Galadriel. You're not doing so well. I know, Black Queen, yas. Galadriel's like, excuse you, stay? Halbrand with the diplomacy. Guess. Can we appreciate Miriel's entire costume and bearing? That was awkward. And then just like, okay. Opportunity. He's like, please don't ruin this for me. I could make a summer home here. There's no such thing as peace for Galadriel. If there is, it is a watchful peace only. Okay. Tension, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's hard to read Halbrand. Is he just being sort of cocky? Ooh, I like that. Your father's cloud. Two sons. But, you know, whatever. Hey, Isildur! Isildur! Are we gonna hear someone shout his name? Can we please hear someone shout his name? I'll wait for it. I'll gladly wait for it. There's the promo image. Okay, whispering. Whispering. I'll take whispering. Isildur! Oh dear. Varandil. Valandil is friend of the Valar in Elvish. This is the name that was canonically given to, I believe, Isildur's son, but I believe it's just his friend here. Ooh, you did it bad, Valandil. I know. I can't believe those sails are functional, but they are quite nice. Very nice indeed. I love the instrumentation. Mortal men and their horns, am I right? That's cool. I like that addition. Oh, poor Imrahil. Sea trials. And there she is, Emma Horvath. Rude. Such a brother move. Greeting the horse. No, no, no. No eating Isildur. Uh-oh, where's father? Ooh, Elendil. Gosh, that crown is so cool. Hi, Gray. She's not wrong. The Valar are very close in Valinor, and they are definitely keeping their eye on Numenor. Hi, Gray. It's friend of the stars or lover of the stars. Ooh. The way that they're condensing it, Numenor is already splitting from the elves. If the sea's always right, then we're at a bit of an impasse, aren't we? Okay. Oh gosh. Such beautiful weaponry. I like the sort of sun Triskelion design they have for, like, the royalty of Numenor. Back to the Southlands we go. Yeah, I don't know, Flutter. Yeah, orcs do not do well in the sunlight. Yeah, Hordor was another city on the map. Bum. Adar. Correct. Ooh, Revion. Them's fighting words. Yeah, no one trusts that. A water ration. See, he's super thirsty, but he's, like, definitely hesitating. As he should. As a commander, though, he would test it first. Hi, Gray. Pick a direction. Thank you. You can't... My cat wants to lay on my keyboard. Go on. Thank you. Ooh. Ooh, that was Jid. That's Jed Brophy. The actor playing that orc. Hunahravan, he says. That's gotta be so painful for an elf. She keeps on escaping or tries. I was gonna say, she'd better hide her ears. It's good that it's not at night, because elves, especially ones like Galadriel, they would glow with an inner light. I mean, that's fair. Oh, that dagger. Wanty. Ooh. Burn! Isildur running blind. Ooh, well done. Speaking in Quenya. That's all Quenya right there. I think we may have already seen Entwives. I don't think they'd be here on Numenor, but we had Ents hugging when the meteor went overhead in the other episode. Those horses are so pretty. Oh, what a gorgeous horse. Slow blink. She looks so happy. I remember correctly, elves tended to ride bareback. Oh, there's hierarchy and protocol, sir. Don't get into a fight. He's gonna take your girl. Called it. I'm like, you're not doing well, Halbrand. Oh dear. Must we really? Oh, is he gonna start it? He's gonna start some shit. Am I the drama? Oh, okay, okay. I'm like, he'd be really wise to not start a fight right now. Wise. I love that he uses the word anon. That food does look good, though. He kind of does, you're not wrong. Yeah, shouldn't have done that. Took the guild crest from him. And if you went back to the blacksmith, they would be like, well, you certainly didn't get it legally. Like, no one's that stupid. I don't know why he bothered. Fucking angry. Not a good combo. Yeah, and oop. Ooh. I felt that. Ooh, okay. Ooh. Literally going for the throat. Ah, why? No, the bone breaks. No. Ah, why? This is not good. Yeah. Way to get yourself in even worse trouble. I'm like, please stop. Ah, the records room. We saw a promo image from this in one of the early articles. Look at the crest down where the scrolls are, that crest there. It looks similar to the symbol, the heraldry that Tolkien himself gave to Eärendil. It's just a really cool little detail there. And see that sort of six-pronged star symbol. Yeah, Elros. Oh, there they are. Poor Elrond. Is. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. To record the tower's... It is a map! It is a map of Mordor! Ah, we were right! It's Mordor! Dude! We called that ages ago, saying that it looked like it was a long shot, but we thought it would be a map of Mordor. I'll have to look at the runes in Tengwar there. Always have a plan B. Oh, I love the music change. Uh-huh. Ooh, chills. I'm not sure, Cuddlywink. I'm not sure. Oh, great choral arrangement. Those chords. So this will be the ceremony of the Harfoots doing their migration, I assume. So it looks like they have a festival before they move on to their next location. I love that he's like a spiritual leader. That Sadok is like a spiritual leader of the Harfoots. Probably on the edge of the Southlands, more toward the mountains. They're so cute. The Harfoots are just so lovable. Nobody walks alone, remember? if she manages to sneak the stranger in and he's willing to help with the cart, I mean, having a mortal, well, presumably a mortal human, one of the big folk able to help. Heart sense. Oh, common sense and nonsense. Love that. Ooh. Blackmail. Nori is not above blackmail. That's so cool that they have like a book full of constellations. Every culture in Middle-earth has their own names for constellations, which I think is really cool. She yells out, not suspiciously at all. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. Yeah, creepy hand. So he's like the record keeper and sort of spiritual leader of them. Well done with the coded left, right, straight bits. I love how everyone's adorning themselves with the flowers. A speech! Shenanigans. Love how they're like, yeah, we don't leave everyone behind, we carry everyone with us. They're like, except when they fall behind, and then we carry them with us in spirit only. Aww. Poor Poppy. Oh, someone's gonna get caught. Bees? Death by bees? Oh no. We wait for you. Raise a glass. Making a sculpture? Oh my gosh. Yeah, he does not understand fire. This is not gonna go well. It's not gonna go well. Oh, yep, okay. Yep. Cover blown. When he first went near the fire, I was like, he's gonna light something on fire, isn't he? Does not understand the concept of fire. So perhaps what he was saying with manna ure was indeed, like, what is fire? Everyone's gonna know it was Nori's fault. Oh no. No bueno. You already said that. Ooh, Kellemark. Brought out the middle name. Oh! Exiled! You need the back of the back or the middle of the back? It is a bit slow, Andaman. Away from the keyboard, Gray. The Galadriel. I love how Isildur knows the name. Off-screen Anarion. He is canonical. Isildur does have a brother named Anarion. Great pronunciation by all of them. Oh dear. Rude. Poor Isildur. He's tried and failed a few different things, thus him running blind. Ooh, calling you out, Elendil. Yay! See, Isildur has his merits, and he's gone. And he's gone. Ooh, pretty statue. That's probably Uinen. The statue is likely Uinen. She was the, one of the Maiar. Okay, the writing is all in the Numenorian script. I won't be able to read that. Okay, so we do have a lost king situation here. So, of noble birth. Very Aragorn-like character here. Sorry about that noise, that's my cat feeder going off. So very Aragorn feel here, but if he ends up being a king, it's likely with that kind of anger, he might end up being one of the Ringwraiths, one of the Nazgul. Yep, there you go. He's got history. I mean, that... it's very true. Her family started it. Ooh, well put. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this episode is a bit slow, but we are still setting up status quo and then the break from the status quo. Love that pattern on the windows. Nice detail. Just like the pattern on the glass there, there's like etched pattern everywhere. Obviously an Elvish tower, there is a separation in structure when it comes to the old temple when the elves were around and helped with the building versus the newer construction in Numenor. Okay, so who's she conversing with the Palantir? Oh, gosh. Really struggling with the wagon because of his hurt foot. Oh, uh-oh. I think they've got a stowaway. And maybe that's why your cart was so heavy. Can you imagine? Harfoot's trying to pull the cart with like a full-grown human on board. Aww. He learned a word. That young actor there almost looked like the same actor who played young Galadriel. I wonder if they reused her. Her name's Amelie Child-Ville. Or Vali? I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. Okay, yeah, back to Halbrand. I love that. Love that. Elements of, like, capoeira in his movements. Ooh. Yes! Such a smart move. If you can't beat the orcs, make them retreat. Uh-oh. Yeah, the chain fighting was very cool. Very, very capoeira-esque. Which is a Brazilian, almost dance-like style of fighting. I like that these wargs look different than the ones in Lord of the Rings. These are almost hyena-like. Well, I guess the ones in Peter Jackson's were also hyena-like, but in a different way. Ooh. That was Quenya. Okay. I wouldn't have thought Arondir would know Quenya, so that's an interesting twist. Oh, that was so good. Yes. All right, so Revion is getting away. Oh, no. That didn't last long. Ouch. Well, his friends certainly aren't lasting long. Ooh, okay, bring him to Adar. Are we gonna see him or no? Okay, we might. Okay, so this will be our first glimpse of Adar. And this is either Sauron or a commander of Saurons. Is it gonna focus? Come on, focus. Ah, come on. Tease. Okay. Just, I'm like, is it gonna focus? No, we're gonna wait until the next episode to focus. Dang. Okay, well there you go, episode 3. Not too many details for me to dive into, but there were some bits of dialogue that were in Elvish for sure. We had Huna Hravan, which was Sindarin, and we had a few lines in Quenya that I'll need to double check. I'll admit, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated a bit by the slowness of this one. But I do understand that very much the first season is really going to be establishing that status quo and then going against that status quo, showing the conflict really getting going. I'm sad that there were no dwarves, no Celebrimbor, no Elrond in this episode whatsoever. No Gil-galad. So yeah, definitely taking its time. It's because we have so many plot lines going on all at once that's gonna be difficult. But at least this time I didn't have buffering issues, so the timer here is actually accurate. Alright, we can stop it now. Good, wonderful music, as always, with the closing credits, but we'll stop that. Okay, let's stop the timer here. Okay. So, initial thoughts, yeah, a little bit frustrated by the pacing, but I do understand that that's going to be an issue probably for at least the first half of the season. So I would expect the pacing to still be really slow in episode 4 as well. Hopefully after that it will pick up a bit, but we do have a lot of multiple storylines happening at the same time. So we do know that Miriel has one of the Palantiri, just from promotional material, so we don't know who she's conversing with through the Palantir, but she basically has an Elvish cell phone going on there. Elvish smartphone. But we'll have to see where this goes. I did like that Elendil and Isildur obviously know who Galadriel is. She is a relatively prominent figure within Finwë's line of elves, so she's basically royalty, and especially having identified herself with the Golden House of Finarfin, they definitely know who she is. And I'm sure Miriel also knows who she is. Being a royal, she would be very familiar with the history of the Númenóreans and how it relates back to Finwë's line through Elros and Elrond and Eärendil. So, yeah, couple details there that are nice and fun. We did see the crest of probably what ends up being Elros. Not Eärendil, but Elros, who was the first king of Númenor, in that library, the old records room. And we also saw the place where the Palantir is also Elvish architecture, with the star motif and the Elvish, very Art Nouveau lines of everything, versus the hall was much more Númenorian, like with an obvious departure from Elven influence. So it's interesting to see that juxtaposition. It does sort of represent the conflict between Númenor and the elves in general. It's said that at the very top of the tower in Númenor, on a clear day with the best-sighted individuals, on the very, very end of their vision, if they looked west, they could see the light of Tol Sirion. Not Tol Sirion, what am I talking about? Tol Eressëa. Tol Eressëa being the elven island that is the easternmost part of Valinor. So that's their contact with the elves, especially the elves who sailed west, who are Noldor. Based on how the orcs knelt before Adar, you think it's Sauron. Yeah, the orcs did very much sort of establish that Adar is their leader. And based on it being the Elvish word for father, it does make sense that it would be not just their commander, but like their high commander, aka Sauron. I'm actually kind of happy that our theory about the mark of Sauron being a map of Mordor, I'm happy that turned out to be true. That's sort of the one big revelation, I think, in episode 3, is that it is a map of Mordor. So, I forget who posted that theory online. I did notice it in the design, that if you just turn it 90 degrees, you end up with what looks like a map of Mordor. I'm actually kind of happy that turned out to be true. So, if I figure out who initially first posted that theory, I will try and credit them when I update my threads. But I'll have to give this another watch through and pick out all of the Elvish details. Looks mostly like the details were dialogue oriented this time around, so I'll get to work on it. But that's it for episode 3. I will definitely be back next week. We'll keep doing these watch-throughs, getting initial impressions, and then I'll stay up and try and get all of the Elvish bits taken care of before I go to bed. So I think that's where we're pretty much gonna end it tonight. Any questions right off the bat? Yes, Aaron, the word Adar means father. It does mean father in Elvish. I believe it means Adar. Adar is both Quenya and Cinder, and it's one of the words that crossed over easily. So yeah, okay. So we did get our first glimpse at what we think is going to be Sauron, but not yet confirmed for sure. But most likely going to be Sauron. Which means that Joseph Maul is Sauron. So that's the revelation. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Yes, thank you so much everyone for being here. I will definitely see you guys next week. We'll do another watch party. And once again, I will start an hour early just to go over any Elvish details that I found in the previous episode, in this case, this episode. And we'll go over that sort of stuff and discuss impressions, maybe share what we think might happen next or where we might be going in the next episode. I do think we're going to get Arondir escaping in the next episode. And that's where we'll get the promotional stuff of Theo and Bronwyn running and him coming to their rescue and aiding them in their escape from the orcs. So probably going to see Arondir get away and try and help Bronwyn and Theo in the next episode. That's a guess of mine. And we'll have to see what happens with Galadriel and Halbrand over on Numenor. I'm okay with Arondir, with Halbrand being a very Aragorn-like figure, that he's of whatever noble line was running the Southlands for a while. So interesting there. We'll see what they do with it. It's very likely that with the kind of rage that we're seeing from Halbrand, that over the course of the next few seasons, he may turn dark and end up being one of the Nazgul. I think introducing one of the Nazgul early is not necessarily a bad thing. Theo himself might end up also becoming one of the Nazgul. We need to see what happened with the dark sword basically reforging itself with the power of Theo's blood. So we'll have to see what on earth is going on with Theo. But I think that will be very slow to develop in the plot as well. Things are going to be slow, but knowing that there are multiple seasons and that they're already greenlit for those multiple seasons, it means that they have the freedom in this first season to really take their time. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. So valid criticism will definitely be pacing in the first season. I'm hoping that once they get everything established, they'll really dive into getting some action in here. Beyond I don't just mean action like fight scenes. I mean action as in the plot really progressing, because this was quite a slow episode. You think Halbrand might be the Witch King? He could be. We don't know. That's the fun thing about this, is we just don't know yet. It's too early to tell a lot of things. But we will have to definitely stay tuned for the next episodes, and we'll see what happens from here on out. So I'm going to call it quits for the night, you guys. Luckily, I did take that muscle relaxer, so I'm not feeling like I'm in too much pain, but I'm very hungry right now, so I'm going to get some food in me and then start in on those Elvish translations. Most of the Elvish was subtitled, so the translation won't be the problem. It'll just be getting down what exactly they were saying. There were a couple lines there, at least one line in Quenya was not translated. So I'll do my best. Quenya's not my forte. I'm going to be super honest. So I will be relying on some friends on the internet to help me with the Quenya, because it's not my thing. I know Neo Sindarin, not Neo Quenya. So I'll do my best, but no promises. So everyone, please take care. I will see you guys next week. And yeah, we'll see what else is gonna happen. We'll see what's gonna happen. So music is back on now. We're gonna go to the exit screen, and I will see you guys next week. Definitely follow me over on Twitter if you want to see what all of the Elvish details end up being. I will be making an original thread for tonight's episode, and then once I know that things have been corrected a bit, I'll then update my master thread that's pinned to my profile over on Twitter. So other than that, I will see you guys over on TikTok. I do plan on doing another calligraphy stream, so if you want to see your or anyone else's name written in Elvish, I will be doing another calligraphy stream soon. Now that my bout of eczema has cleared up, I can now use my hand and do some more calligraphy, so that'll be a lot of fun. So that'll be over on TikTok. Feel free to follow me over there as well. That is my primary platform. Twitter is just sort of taking over lately because it's easy to send out bits of information, like all of the Elvish details. Alright guys, everyone please take care. I will see you guys next week. Catch me on other social media in the meantime, and come back for the next live stream. Take care everyone. Good night! Bye guys.